Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to go over the observable Boolean system that I discussed in my previous video and some of the updates that I've added to it. In fact, it's no longer called Bool Listener, it's called Field Listener, and that's because we've actually added the ability to insert integers into the condition table. So the script is very similar. As you could see here, we have the events from the last video. We have onActivated, onDeactivated. And currently, when this object becomes true, it will call this onActivated event and turn off. And then once one of its fields becomes false, then it will call the deactivated field. So let's add this cube here to the field wizard. Let's select clicked. Let's say clicked equals true, and then add that. And you can see I've actually cleaned up the UI a bit. You can see the game object that we're tracking, and then you can see the field and the value that this field must equal in order for this onActivated to be called. So if we hit run, and by the way, this is the cube in the middle. If we click the cube in the middle, the sphere will turn off, and if I click it again, it will turn back on. And that's because it's triggering between true and false and calling these two events. Now let's add one more condition. We're going to use the same exact cube. We're going to pick spaced, and we're going to add that. And as you can see, it adds it right underneath this component for the cube object. And if we jump to the cube, which is this one, you can see that the clickable state component does have clicked and does have spaced. So if we go back to the sphere, you can see that is nicely organized underneath its game object as well as underneath its component. So now if we run this, not only do I have to click the cube, but I also have to hit space. And you'll see that the sphere vanishes. So if we go back and this time add the same object and pick double clicked and then switch this to false and then click add, you can see it adds the new component called double click and the field double clicked with false. And so if we go to that cube, you can see this is a separate component with double clicked, and it's actually organized that into the UI for us. And this time I set it to false, so that means that if the object is double clicked, so let's actually put it into a double clicked state. The object has been double clicked, which violates this condition. So if I click it and hit space, the cube stays on. I must turn off the double click the cube, then hit space for it to activate. The moment it becomes double clicked, this turns back on because it fails this condition. So this is how you can combine multiple fields on the same exact game object and have it trigger this sphere. So this sphere is tracking 3 different fields from the cube game object, and once these have all been met, onActivated will be called, and then once one of these becomes false, it will deactivate. So now let's add another object. So we have another cube here. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to remove this component here, or this double clicked. And I'm going to drag in this cube 1. Oops, wrong one. Drag it in right there. I'm going to select double clicked. And then I'm going to pick false. And as you can see, this adds a line pointing to the second cube. And it also includes the game object for that object as well as the component, just like above, but we get this nice divider. And I've set this to false as well. And you can see this works very similar. So if I double click this cube, let's actually get a better view here. This view is much better. Let me adjust the camera. There we go. This cube has been double clicked, and this one needs to be clicked and spaced. And you can see it's not activating, and that's because it's set to false. So if we double click this, turn it off, you can see the cube vanishes, or the sphere vanishes. And of course I can control this like before. So that's how you can use multiple game objects for this field listener. Now let's step it up a bit. On this cube you can see that we have a counter script, and the counter script is actually an integer. So now we can actually use integer values. So if we go back to the sphere and drag in cube 4 into the field wizard, you can actually see that I have an option for counter. If I select this, the UI changes and actually shows me a text input field. So if I set this to 5 and hit add, it actually adds it down here to cube 4 as an integer. I forgot to add it here, but as you can see down here below, we have a drop down for the different comparison options. By default, it is set to equals equals. What I'm going to do just for this example is I'm going to remove this spaced option, and I'm going to also remove this double clicked. And we can ignore that. That shouldn't cause an issue. Actually, it might cause an issue. So let's, there's still a couple bugs with this, so let's just reset this, and then let's add this back. And then let's also add the clicked option for the first cube. Okay, perfect. And then let's hook up the events again. So yeah, some of the removal isn't perfect. I'm still sorting through that, but resetting the component will solve our issue. So let's just set this back up real quick. Okay, everything looks good. So in order for this sphere to turn off, the cube 4, which is this one, needs to be count 5, and the way we count up is with the A key. So I'll press the A key 5 times, and then I need to click the first cube, which is this one. So first I'm going to click the cube in the middle. Let me adjust the camera so we can actually get a good view of this. So go to the scene, align with view. Okay. So if I click this cube, the first condition has been met, and then I have to hit the A key 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the moment it becomes 5, this sphere will vanish. And then, of course, if I hit the A key one more time, it will become 6, and the cube should turn back on. So I'm going to hit it one more time, and you can see that the sphere turns back on. So this is how we track integers. And I can actually change this. So if we did greater than 5, and then I hit the A key again, it becomes 7, and then it turns off. So as you can see, you can change this stuff real time as well. So yeah, those are some of my updates. To summarize, we basically we have an organized UI here. Removal is working for the most part. There is a couple issues I'm still sorting out. You can use integers, and you can also pick between these different options for integers. And you can also change the conditions on the fly after you've added them here. So yeah, that's the summary. I hope you guys enjoyed this little update, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.